In this episode, we are going to look into the options that the high school students and fresh graduates have in military career. So when I say military, it's the all branches of military: Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the Marines. So as a high school student, how you can get into the military service? The military is ready to offer you right from your junior year. You can be part of the JROTC program, that is the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps program, in your high school, or some schools have it as NDCC. That's the National Defense Cadet Corps. So check in your high school whether any of these programs exist. If so, you can join in these programs and get your leadership and the basic military knowledge groomed during your high school years. So after your high school, you have two options. Either you can join into a university where they have a ROTC option, that's the Reserve Officer Training Corps. So when you complete this ROTC during your college years, you will graduate as a Reserve Army officer. Reserve military officer. Most colleges, most universities across the US has Army ROTC program. There are about like 1100 plus universities that has Army ROTC program, and I believe the Air Force ROTC program is for about like 150 plus campuses, and the Navy has very limited opportunities, especially those universities which has some good track records in science and engineering. They have some Navy ROTC program. Regardless of the branch of service, you get to graduate your university as a army or the military officer, and you can get into officer cadre roles in the military. Okay, let's come to another scenario where a high school student has never gone to any of the JROTC program or the National Defense Cadet Corps program. And what are my options if I've not been to any of these programs? Well, you do stand a chance. So, of course, you can go and check at your college whether you can enroll into any of those ROTC programs. If not, you can enlist yourself in the military, especially as a reserve enlisted personnel in any of the branches. So as a reserve enlisted personnel, you will be fulfilling your service contract with the branch of service. During this period, you will be getting tuition and other scholarships from the military, which also applies to the ROTC program in the college. In most colleges, the ROTC candidates gets 100% scholarship. I believe it's the range is about like $10,000 per year, plus your book fees, plus your stipend. That's about ranging from $300 to $500 a month. So as an enlisted personnel, you can actually enlist as a reserve personnel. So which means you will be going to your classes during your Monday to Friday, your regular work week, and you will be fulfilling 2 days of reserve duty in one of the camps that is nearby, in one of the military camp that is closer to your location, on a Saturday and a Sunday. So this way you get best of the both of worlds. You get both your civilian life and your military life. So this is for the enlisted personnel in the reserves. And there is also another option. So if you are good in your high school, that is, if you start consistently scoring in your high school in maybe like higher GPA, and if you also have AP courses during your high school, you always stand a chance to enroll yourself into one of those military academies like the USMA at West Point, or the USNA Naval Academy at Maryland, and the Air Force Academy at Colorado. In any of these institutes, you can actually enroll yourself right after your high school. So these are considered to be the Ivy Leagues of the military academies. And for this, of course, every year the application deadline is in January. So before end of January, you need to apply for this. And as a high school student, I would advise you to start preparing for this right from your 9th grade. You can actually get yourself prepared with the basic requirements like the academic requirements as well as the physical requirements. Physical requirements like you have to stay healthy, basically. That's the thing. And to enroll into these academies, the US military academies, you need to get a nomination from your congressman or congresswoman. Basically, your representative should nominate you to get enrolled into this academies. So I would suggest you to speak with the recruiter of these academies. They have a field force of recruiters who would be able to guide you through this process right from your freshman year of the high school. And these academies also offer you tours. How cool is that, right? So as a freshman or as a sophomore person, you can actually check with those academies for a tour. So they say that like, I mean, as I know about USMA because a friend of mine, she has enrolled her son for a summer camp over there. They kind of offer 1 week of stay. So you can stay in those barracks, which is actually the dormitories. They call it as barracks. So you can stay in those barracks and you can observe how the USMA is functioning, how your fellow cadets, that's the students, not your fellow, basically your seniors over there, the senior cadets, how they kind of get involved in those academic as well as the military activities. You can observe there for a week. So why don't you just try that during the summer? Okay, so back to this enlisted role, that is while you're doing your college. So what are you going to perform as an enlisted personnel, enlisted reserve personnel? Enlisted roles are the ones that those are considered to be the entry level roles, right from the combat to any of the administrative roles. But all these roles, right? So it could be a combat or an administrative role. All this would require a basic military training. So if you enroll yourself in the army as a reserve enlisted personnel in the army, you'll be going through the basic combat training at South Carolina or Colorado, and one of those like academies that they have. So if you're in Navy, if you enlist yourself in Navy, you'll be going through the recruit training at Recruit Training Command at Great Lake, Illinois. And if you enlist yourself in Air Force, you'll be going through the BMT, that is the basic military training here at Texas. That's Lackland, Texas. That's near San Antonio. And say if you enlist yourself in the Marine Corps, you'll be going through your Marine Corps boot camp trainings at either at California, San Diego, or at South Carolina. I think it's at Paris Island, South Carolina. Similarly, Coast Guards will go through the enlisted training at Cape May, New Jersey. Once you complete this, sorry, let me take a step back. There's one more thing that you need to do between your high school and before enlisting yourself in any of these programs. It could be as a full-time enlistment or even a reserve. You need to complete the ASVAB test, Armed Services Occasional Aptitude Battery. That's about a combination of what you studied in your high school, especially on math, reading, writing. I'm going to give you a reference on the ASVAB, the portal that I found it pretty useful, especially it gives you the range, the marks that you need for the different branches of the military and the roles that you need to get into the military. So remember, the roles that you get into a military as an enlisted personnel is going to depend on your performance in this ASVAB scores and your the basic military or the basic combat training that you go through for about 8 weeks. That's the 8 weeks of basic training that you go through in each of these branches. So the combination of these would put you into the next level, which is your specialized skill training. For example, if it is a Navy, you get into the A school. So the A school is where you're going to learn about the exact job role that you're going to perform in the military. Say if you are going to be a nuclear operator in a submarine, then you will be learning how to operate those nuclear in the submarine. Say if you're going to be a cybersecurity personnel, you're going to learn more on the technology side in one of these specialized skills schools. Similarly, every branch and every role has it. In fact, Air Force Reserves has a very good data of the scores that you need for various roles as an enlisted personnel in Air Force. So remember to check out the Air Force Reserve. I'm also going to give you the links, the brief in the description on ASVAB and the ROTC program. Something that I found bestcolleges.com and the study.com websites. Those are pretty detailed and that would definitely help you. By the way, any of these websites like study.com or bestcolleges.com does not sponsor this video. So I just want to keep that informed. Now let's talk briefly about the officer level roles in the military. Okay, so you did not go to any of these military academies like the West Point or the Annapolis or the Colorado Springs for Air Force. You did not go to any of these academies. You went to your neighborhood university, say like University of Texas or UC, UC at California. So you went to a neighborhood university where you had this ROTC program, or you actually enrolled yourself as a reserve personnel, where you kind of did your enlistment, and then you want to move up in the ladder after completing your enlistment contract as an officer, because now you have a degree, and of course you have a basic army training, so you want to move up in the ladder. So where are you going to go? And for you, similar to the A schools or the specialized skill training, there are officers academy in each of these branches. The OCS, the officer academies for the Army, and the Air Force has here in Colorado. So you will be moving on to those officers academy to get your next level of specialized training. As an officer, you can enroll, I mean, you will be part of the special forces, or you could be a pilot. You kind of join the military as a second lieutenant cadre. So you do not join there as an enlisted, you go directly into a second lieutenant cadre as an officer who's graduating out of these academies. It takes more commitment to join the military or in any of the military branches, and of course patriotism. You are really patriotic about your country, and that is one reason that you joined military. And top of it, let's also talk about some of the financial aspect that you get. So you will be getting, as an enlisted person, an average salary of like $40,000 per annum, and as an officer you would be getting about like $80,000 per annum. I'm only quoting the averages as a fresh graduate, or the entry level position that you join in military from either an enlisted or an officer role. Apart from that, of course, military offers you a lot of benefits. Your veteran benefit is going to come all through your life if you honorably get discharged out of your service. And speaking of honorable discharge, remember one thing: the good moral character. That is something you are going to hold key in your entire career. Right from your high school, it is okay for you to score low. Military is not demanding for every candidate, for every individual to be taking an AP course or graduating with higher GPAs. They kind of okay with to begin with, like a GPA of 2.75 and above. So even if you think you cannot push yourself too hard on your studies, it's okay if you're scoring 2.75 and above. You could be an average student today at school or in your college program, university program, but remember, you are a hero when you join military. Every average personnel in the school is not going to stay in his or her life forever as an average personnel. They will have their moments. So you remember that all that you need to hold key is your integrity. So that good moral character should be carrying along your life. I mean, in the military and beyond. And there's one more bonus tip. Okay, if any of you who are under 39 years of age or 35 years of age is wondering, oh my God, I missed a golden opportunity in my school days or in my university days, don't worry, you still stand a chance. Um, the branches like Army to Air Force, they have a age cap of 35 to 39, and you can join as a reserve officer, similar to the reserve officer for a college student to go get him or her enlisted. So you can actually, you might already be holding a degree by now. So that really gives you a key to go directly as an officer, a reserve officer, not a reserve enlisted person. So if you think you still stand a chance, I would highly recommend you to go and enlist yourself as a reserve officer, because you get best of the both worlds. As a civilian and as a reserve, you just have to serve your commitment of 2 days per month and 2 weeks per year for 2 days per month plus 2 weeks per year for a reserve commitment, for your active duty commitment. So go and check that out. In fact, I have tried it myself. Unfortunately, I learned it at very last leg of my eligibility requirement. I still have like 4 or 5 months to get myself enlisted, but by now I kind of realized, no, I don't have a chance because of my other commitments. So that's okay. That's my personal story. But you definitely have a chance, despite being, you could be in your late 20s or early 30s. You still or even mid 30s, you still have a chance. So just go and try that out. My other tip is, even if you have no idea about how your career is going to be or what you want to perform in your life, I would always suggest you to go to the military with an open mind, because that kind of molds anyone to be a fine human being, a gentleman, a woman, a gentle officer. Military would definitely mold you from a neighborhood kid to a fine human being, a great officer. In the military services, that is your lifelong experience, because you're not only going to retire from military, because with this military experience, you're going to gain more opportunities in your life. You could become a diplomat, you could become elected official, you could become, as a president of the United States. So you have a lot of opportunities, and it's boundless. Remember, military is the place you can learn a lot of new technologies and a lot of new skills which is not yet available to the general public. So take your military career as cool as possible. At the same time, it's a commitment. So take that as a commitment for your life, and you would be a great officer and a great human being. Right. So in today's episode of Campus Compass, we navigated your military career, where we kind of saw how a high school student can enlist him or herself and also become an officer in the military. Apart from that, how even others who are out of college, who are kind of into a civilian life, can also transform themselves into a military profession. So let me know your comments on what you think about this episode, and also let me know what you would like to hear more about the military career. Happy to discuss. Thank you.